This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 876 of Horse Tip Daily. A different horse tip, a different equine topic, a different equestrian expert every day. Horse Tip Daily brings the world of equine knowledge to you, one day at a time. Greetings, horse people. Coach Jen here, and thanks for tuning in to Horse Tip Daily. Today's tip is about round pen work. Western radio show co-hosts Alan Moorhead and Tammy Sronce talk about using a round pen to train for standing and ground tying and offer some real-world examples of how handy these skills are. And we'll get right to our tip after this shopping tip from EquestrianCollections.com.
Hi, Glenn here with the Horse Radio Network, and I am with Debbie from Equestrian Collections with the Equestrian Collections Product of the Week.
As your listeners know, I love half chaps, but I have come across some really super ones. They're the Tread Step Liberty half chaps. They come in two forms. They come in a side zip and a back zip. The back zip is so it looks even more like a tall boot. The side zip is because it's a little more convenient and maybe a little bit easier to zip up. The way these things work is that part of it is the full grain leather. It looks just like a tall boot. And then the inside is sort of a stretchy suede so that this thing molds to your foot. Now, I will tell you with all the Tread Step products, which are absolutely phenomenal products, Tread Step expects these to feel tight. When you put these on, in fact, they tell you the first couple times you put tall boots or half chaps on, you should have a helper, because it will be that tight as you zip yourself into them. But after about the first 2, maybe 3 times, they will have molded to your leg or foot, and you can zip them up yourself, and they will just look fabulous. I wore these on a trail ride, and I absolutely loved them. They're not summer chaps, so this is the time of year to be looking to get something like this that you can wear all the time, schooling or wherever you would wear a half chap, and have it look like a tall boot. These things, I can't even tell you how wonderful they are. And the sizes are very, they fit a lot of different people, and you can take a look. There's a ton of sizes. They go all the way up to 17-inch calf with a 16. They're just amazing. So
now, I do have a question. A lot of the complaints I've had with half chaps over the years, not Tread Step, but with half chaps in general, is they have crappy, cheap zippers. So when I first put this thing on and they were here and showed us these chaps, I said the same thing, because as they were saying, you need 2 people to zip them up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, the zipper's going to go. These are fabulous zippers. It took 2 people to get me in it the first time, and I kept thinking this zipper's going to break. Did not break. It's absolutely these they are not inexpensive. They're $120, $119.95, but everything in here is quality. So don't worry about the zippers on the Tread Step half chaps or boots or anything like that. They have top of the line. Very good, and you can find it by going to EquestrianCollections.com and searching for Tread Step Liberty Half Chaps, and they'll pop up. And, of course, this is a terrific Christmas gift idea as well.
It is, and especially look at these sizes, because it's not easy to find this quality half chaps in some of the sizes that they offer.
EquestrianCollections.com.
Last week on our show, we talked about round penning and things like that, and I said that I use that as an opportunity to build some relationship with horses by walking with them, not just standing in the middle with my hand on my hip and that kind of a thing, and working with my horse. And I wanted to expound on that just a little bit more this week, in the fact that where I said building a relationship with my horse. And you and I have talked about many times training our horses to tie. And I mentioned that with colts, I'm always working on manes and tails and teaching them to be hands-on and that kind of thing. But I take that even further other than just tying. I use a lot of that into the round pen as well when I teach my horses to ground tie. After I lope them or, working in the round pen a bit, I have them stop. I walk over to them, put hands all on them, make them stand there, over and under. And it's just like training these mares that you can touch deep udders and all that kind of a thing, to be comfortable with that. And I'll use a lot of just standing there and playing with their mane and things like that. It helps teach them patience. And the thing of it is like when they're tied and you're doing that, they might pull back or something and they're right there. But in the round pen, if they start to fidget and that kind of stuff, I'll move them off, make them go around the pen 3 or 4 times, ask them to stop, go back up to them. And that just helps them with my ground time without having to, hobble and things like that, to where they're just going to stand and be comfortable with you walking all around and that kind of a thing. So I utilize round pen time for that as well. It's not only teaching them to go and what to do and how to move, but I use round time to teach them to stop and be patient and let me do what I need to do without being tired.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. I got drugged once with Handsome, Alan. Oh, no. I was at a brand new arena, and they had what they had, and you probably know a lot more about arena dirt than I do, but they had put a really hard base down, and then they had put loose sand on top. And it was so slippery. When the horses put their feet down, it was like they didn't have anything to grip on in any way. We were kind of making a V shape in the arena, and at the center of that V, his legs just went out from under him, and he fell to the ground. He got up, and then he trotted off, and I sat there for like a millisecond, and then I felt like a bull rider because my foot just followed him, and I was like, oh my God, and it really scared me, and he probably drugged me, not far, maybe like, I don't know, 15, 20 foot, and then he was like, I'm stopping, you are so heavy. That's the benefits of having a lazy horse. So, yeah.
And I've seen several of them, too. I've seen some horses when somebody falls off that they'll kind of take off. And I mean, there's some of them that you just see they're not going to stop. And fortunately, a boot comes off or the foot does come out and you don't have that bad of a wreck. I have seen it where they didn't, and they didn't stop till they got to the pen. And fortunately, I've seen some folks get hurt, but not super bad because of that.
Yep.
But and I've also seen some that have been through that kind of a deal to where in the ground time that you try to teach them, that I've seen some horses and folks fall off at the first barrel or something, or even in the roping. And I mean, that horse would just plant it and stop and look over his shoulder like, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. What the hell are you doing down there?
And that's a wrap. You can also find lots more tips on topics ranging from barn care to websites for horse people at horsetipdaily.com. Just look for the topics drop-down menu on the left. And if you love listening to Tammy and Alan putting in their 2 cents on everything horse, you can tune in every week at westernradioshow.com. And now you can have all of the Horse Radio Network shows with you wherever you go with our new free app for iPhone and Android. Just go to your app store and search for Horse Radio Network. It's free. And don't forget to support our sponsors here on Horse Tip Daily because they really do make these podcasts possible. Today's podcast has been brought to you through the generous support of EquestrianCollections.com. The Horse Radio Network and the Horse Radio Network hosts are not responsible for statements of guests or their opinions. Use your own judgment when listening to the tips provided by the experts on Horse Tip Daily.